The Radio Forest Podcast.
Here's an interview with the late Ace Frehley from Kiss back in 2016 promoting his album Origins Volume 1.
Forrest, how are you?
Space Ace. Can I call you Space Ace?
Call me whatever you want.
How you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. I'm excited about this new album, April 15th, Origins Volume 1.
Have you heard it?
Yeah, I've heard White Room and I think the Thin Lizzy and Zeppelin Steppenwolf covers.
Great.
How did you pick which songs? Because it's got to be hard to narrow it down to one album.
Yeah, I picked groups that influenced me in my guitar playing as I was growing up. Led Zeppelin, The Stones, Jimi Hendrix, Cream. It wasn't too hard of a choice, you know.
And the big story now is, of course, Paul Stanley's on the album.
Yeah, that was a great event. I gave Paul a call a couple of months ago, told him about the project. Said, would you get involved with a song? And he said, yeah, sounds like fun. And, you know, the only problem we had was just figuring out which song to do. You know, we kicked around 2 or 3 different song ideas, and then we settled on Fire and Water. I think it was a perfect choice.
Kiss fans are getting excited because is the door now open to you to talk to at least half of what's remaining of Kiss? You've talked to Paul. Is it just Gene now? Is the last piece?
I've stayed in contact with those guys, you know, over the years. You know, we always talk from time to time. You know, the press makes it out like we hate each other. You know, that's a crock.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame seemed like you guys got along fine.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we're all professionals and we're all brothers in rock and roll. You know, we created something amazing back in the 70s that's withstood the test of time, and, you know, who knows what the future will bring.
Why did it take so long for you guys to get inducted? I'm kind of on a love-hate relationship with the Hall of Fame. Like, why did it take so long for Kiss to be included when bands like Run DMC and NWA go in? I mean, it just seems kind of weird.
That's a good question. You know, during our whole career, we always had a feud going on with Rolling Stone. And I believe the people that run Rolling Stone are associated with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So there was a problem there. There was a barrier, and you know, our fans, you know, pretty much overcame it by petitioning year and year, every year. You know, I mean, we could have been inducted 10 years ago. We were eligible, but you know, finally, you know, they kind of gave in to pressure.
Well, that makes sense because Rolling Stone magazine is always like Bruce Springsteen and Lou Reed, and I mean, it's the guys that they get in the year they're eligible. And Kiss, it's almost like the Kiss army and the fans had to keep pounding on the door to finally the Hall of Fame's like, I guess we got to do it.
Well, that's kind of what happened. But, I mean, the people at Rolling Stone are great, you know. I've been in there now since the induction, you know, 3 or 4 times. And I just did a thing in this issue about, you know, the 5 songs I wish I had wrote. And,
I saw that. Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven. They even had a Kiss song in there that you kind of wish you would have written.
Yeah, Deuce. My
Deuce.
favorite Kiss song.
That's your favorite Kiss song?
Yeah, it was the first Kiss song I heard when I walked into audition for the 3 guys, and boom. Just always has stayed with me.
Tell me about that day, because you see the ad in the newspaper. You walk in, they're playing that song. Did you know right away, or did it kind of take a little while for you to think that this was something more than the other bands you had been in?
Well, I walked in, and you know, Paul and Gene and Peter said, you know, we're going to play this song. You know, listen to it. It's in the key of A, and then try playing along with us. And you know, I listened to it, and then I, you know, plugged into my Marshall stack and just played every riff I knew at the time, you know, to try to impress them, and they were impressed.
The rumor I heard is you designed the Kiss logo?
It's not a rumor, it's a fact.
That's a fact. Ace Frehley designed the Kiss logo. How did that come up? Were you sketching, or did it just pop in your head?
Well, you know, once we got together and started doing shows, you know, we had to put together posters, you know, and we decided on the name Kiss, and then I just started screwing around with logo ideas and came up with that.
So Slash is on the new record. Did you know that this Guns N' Roses original lineup reunion was going to happen before the public did, or were you surprised?
I had no idea. You know, I got Slash on the record, you know, several months ago. He was the first VIP to perform on the record, and at that point it hadn't been announced. So, you know, we were just, you know, I've been friends with Slash since the VH1 Rock Honors. That's where we first started hanging out, and it was just a great experience. You know, I originally had recorded some solos, and I was going to have Slash fill in the holes, and then, you know, he looked at me after about 10 minutes. He goes, "Ace, let's do this live." So we both plugged into a Marshall stack, and boom,
No way.
here is what you get.
Old school.
Yeah.
So, have you heard anything about this Axl Rose maybe singing for AC/DC to replace Brian Johnson?
I saw that, but I haven't spoken to anybody from their camp about it. I've been so wrapped up doing press for my new release. I don't have any inside information.
Do you think, in your experience, and this is, maybe an awkward question, is it possible for a band to replace a key original member and have success after that?
It depends on the band.
Let's say that band is Kiss, and they replace the guitarist.
Well,
No comment?
well, Kiss hasn't been headlining for a long time in the U.S. They need to co-headline. If I was back in the band, they'd be able to headline, without having a co-headliner.
So let's say the relationship has now been established with you and Paul, and Gene's the last piece. Let's say 2 years, 5 years, 6 months down the road, he's got some time, you guys talk, you decide to go out on tour. Are you in, or is there a lot of things that have to fall in place before you admit to doing either a record or a Kiss tour?
Any type of reunion has not been discussed. We're all still friends, and we all have respect for each other. But it hasn't been discussed. If it was presented to me in the right way, I'd seriously consider it.
And also, you might be doing another book.
Well, I've been writing it. Started months ago, and it's coming together nicely. Well, I think I can probably have it finished by the end of the year, so 2017 at some point, maybe.
Well, Ace, we appreciate you hanging out with us today and answering all our questions. Good luck with the tour. New album comes out April 15th. Thanks for talking with us today.
Thank you so much. You guys have a great day.